To the broadcast will be official. There we are. How you doing? Welcome everybody to your mishmash little broadcast here because we didn't have one last night due to a plethora of phone calls from somebody. And I'm going to take these off daintily. And there we go. Nicely. Duct tape is good. Is good for saving headsets, as you can see right there. Okay, welcome back. Welcome aboard. This is our Super Saturday. You already know what it is. Harry took the night off, so this is, of course, the L2C Sports Final. Big show tonight. We're going to full hour. And I got a little tooth problem, so a little toothache, so bear with me.
No matter how much you clean, does your house still smell?
Anywho,
That's because your home is filled
let's get on with it, shall we?
trap odors and release them back into the room.
We're going to try to get you the scores from yesterday, the scores from today, and everything else that's happened in the day in sports. And we're here to tell you that the fate of baseball may have already been decided. As you know, last night, Major League Baseball had their offer, and well, you never guess what happened. Indeed, it got rejected. That's right, as expected. The Major League Baseball Players Association rejected Major League Baseball's latest proposal to begin. The league proposed a 72-game season at 80% prorated pay on Friday. The proposal included a scathing letter and gave the union until Sunday to respond. The MLBPA responded a day early and officially rejected the offer today. Furthermore, MLBPA Executive Director Tony Clark issued a statement saying it appears further dialogue with the league would be futile and invited Commissioner Rob Manfred to schedule however many games he sees fit. Here is Clark's statement. Quote, players want a season possible, as soon as possible, as safely as possible. Players agreed to billions in monetary concessions as a means to that end, and in the face of repeated media leaks and misdirection, we made additional proposals to inject new revenue into the industry, proposals that will benefit the owners, players, broadcast partners, and fans alike. It has now become apparent that these efforts have fallen upon deaf ears. In recent days, owners have decreed the supposed unprofitability of owning a baseball team, and the commissioners repeatedly threatened to schedule a dramatically shortened season unless players agree to hundreds of millions in further concessions. Our response has been consistent that such concessions are unwarranted, would be fundamentally unfair to players, and that our sport deserves the fullest 2020 season possible. These remain our positions today, particularly in new reports regarding Major League Baseball's television rights information we requested from the league weeks ago, but were never provided. As a result, it unfortunately appears that further dialogue with the league would be futile. It's time to get back to work. Tell us when and where, end quote. Now, a March agreement between baseball and its Players Association gives Manfred the ability to unilaterally schedule a season of any length as long as the players receive full prorated salaries. MLB believes the March agreement allows them to seek another round of pay reductions to account for this being played without fans, which union has rejected. They consider the salary matter closed. Quote, Major Baseball Players Association negotiator Bruce Meyer wrote in a letter to MLB, if it is your intention to unilaterally impose a season, we can request that you inform us and our members of how many games you intend to play and when and where players should report. It is unfair to leave players and the fans hanging at this point. We demand that you inform us of your plans by close of business on Monday, June 15th. MLB issued the following statement tonight. Quote, "We are disappointed that the MLBPA has chosen not to negotiate in good faith over resumption of play after Major League Baseball has made 3 successive proposals that would provide players, clubs, and our fans with an amicable resolution to a very difficult situation caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. The Players Association understands that the agreement reached on March 26 was premised on the parties' mutual understanding that the players would be paid their full salaries only if play resumed in front of fans, and that another negotiation was to take place if clubs could not generate the billions of dollars of ticket revenue required to pay players. The Players Association position that players are entitled to virtually all the revenue from a 2020 season played without fans is not fair to the thousands of other baseball employees that clubs and our office are supporting financially during this very difficult 2020 season. We will evaluate the union's refusal to adhere to the terms of the March agreement, and after consulting with ownership, determine the best course to bring baseball back to our fans," end quote. The June 15th deadline is superficial. Neither side has the ability to impose a hard deadline, though each day that passes is another day cannot be played and more negotiations cannot be ruled out. At this point, it would be surprised if the two sides came to an agreement. However, Manfred unilaterally scheduling a season is the most likely outcome. Both sides have traded multiple proposals over the last few weeks, but the players are the only side making concessions. Proposed fewer games at full prorated pay each step of the way. Meanwhile, MLB keeps making the same basic proposal in a different form. They propose paying payers roughly 1/3 of their full season salary each time. We've already gone through the recap. We don't need to do it again. Now, Meyer's letter called out Major League Baseball's underhanded tactics to circumvent the union and called their negotiation approach one delay tactic after another. Players Association appears to believe Manfred and Major League Baseball are repeatedly submitting the same basic proposal to stall until Manfred has no choice but schedule a 48 to 54 game season because that's all they have time to play. Now, here are 6 other things to know as Major League Baseball and the Players Association continue to haggle and leave the 2020 season and the fans in hostage. Number 1, the Players Association has requested financial information. Last month, the Players Association requested documents supporting MLB's financial claims, and those requests were only partially met. The union believes Major League Baseball has not proven their financial situation is as dire as they've claimed, and they're unwilling to accept another round of pay reductions without evidence. As private business, MLB teams do not open their books. Number 2, the clock is ticking. Once the season is scheduled, either because Manfred does so unilaterally or the two sides come to an agreement, teams will need about 10 days to prepare their training camp sites. An abbreviated 3-week spring training would follow. MLB wants regular season to end no later than September 27th to ensure the postseason does not extend into November and football season. Based on that, spring training would have to begin no later than early to mid-July for a 50 sort of game season. 3, the expanded postseason is on the line. The Players Association must approve an expanded postseason format, and it's unlikely they would do so should Manfred schedule the season unilaterally. Major League Baseball has proposed as many as 16 teams in the postseason to help generate additional revenue. Beyond the schedule, the two sides must also resolve various safety matters related to the pandemic, as well as other on-field and roster rules. Number 4. The Players Association could file a grievance should Manfred unilaterally schedule the season. It's very likely the Players Association would file a grievance alleging Major League Baseball did not negotiate in good faith and play as many games as possible. Major League Baseball would argue the union did not negotiate salary in good faith. Agreements could take years to resolve, and one possible outcome is MLB paying the players a settlement similar to collusion in the 80s. Oh, by the way, did we forget to tell you that Major League Baseball has a new TV deal? Earlier on Saturday, it was reported Major League Baseball is finalizing a $1 billion broadcast deal with Turner Sports beginning in 2022 and will not give teams an immediate cash influx, but is guaranteed future revenue, which can help clubs borrow money to cover short-term expenses. Major League Baseball currently receives $350 million a year from Turner. And while getting the 2020 season started as top priority, the current collective bargaining agreement expires in December 2021. The two sides will spend the next 18 months negotiating a new agreement. A work stoppage is not guaranteed, but it certainly seems more likely now than at any point since the 94-95 strike. Okay, I know I shouldn't do this, but I must. I'm going to take a bit of a break. We will add this pause to a already jammed show. So give me a slight moment. I will return. It's been that kind of a day.
We're talking buttermilk fried chicken, pork chop in the window, and this closet, which I'm not sure you can even legally eat this far north. So low country shrimp and grits. Well, low country because South Carolina. Low country. I'm already full. Right on. Milk. Cream? More milk. More milk. More milk. It's all milk. A little bit of water. Well, these are going to be creamy. So we're going to bring that to a boil and then stir the grits in. These are some nice stone ground? Yes. So they'll come to a simmer and they'll sort of start to thicken. Okay, so the grits are cooked down? We're going to finish them. Melt them with butter? Melt them with butter. Then mascarpone cheese. Wow. More salt. Pepper. Each time you make this, you have the big pot of grits done, you make the shrimp. Yeah, we do that to order. So a little bit of oil. We're going to season our shrimp. Salt. Cracked black pepper. I like the little skewer idea. Makes it a little faster for the cook. I'm making that off. So we just get a little color on there. Okay. And we're going to put that back and add our andouille. That renders out a little bit more fat for us. Onion, celery, bell pepper. Cajun cook. A little more pepper, our garlic. Then we're going to pull off the flame so we don't catch ourselves on fire. And brandy. Shrimp stock. Nice call. Now we add our shrimp back in. Butter, parsley. Okay, so thyme, parsley, and chives. Lemon on the edge. A little bit of lemon. We're ready to go. So you get your grits first. And there it is. This has a real nice balance with the herbs, the foundation of veggies, little pinch of the garlic, but really nice strong shrimp flavor. The grits themselves have fantastic texture. This will fill you up. I've had 4 or 5, 15 bites. I've had this a lot of ways in a lot of places by a lot of folks, but this is exceptional. Thank you. By the way, check it one more. Shrimp and grits. How the shrimp and grits? It's the kind of food you always crave. It's so good. You can get all those comfort foods that you love, but it also feels a little special because the food is prepared so well and looks so beautiful on the plate. Fresh ingredients, fresh food. You come in here and your jeans lunch, the Red Sox lose, and then have a beer and pretzel. Or wait a second. Oops, that just came out. Please make sure that makes it. Okay. So that's it for this.
There. All right. Thank you for allowing me the moment. I'm going to see a dentist this week.
Packages to go.
Right. Let's keep going. And the NBA. Well, they're in a little trouble as well. And we have that fun reason why. Um, on Friday night, Kyrie Irving led a call that included 80 NBA and WNBA players and provided a platform for everyone to voice their concerns about the NBA's plan to return to action amid such health and social and multiple reports. The first to report on the full breadth of concerns addressed on that call was the Athletic Shams Shariana, who outlined what a number of participants, including Donovan Mitchell, Carmelo Anthony, C.J. McCollum, and Dwight Howard, had to say. In the middle of this list, concerns at the center In the middle of this list of concerns that center on the need to keep the fight for racial inequality at the forefront of the conversation, the potential financial hit of not finishing the season, and the health and injury risk as it pertains to both COVID-19 and the some 4.5 months players will have been off by the time play does potentially resume in late July. Shariana threw in this little bon mot. The NBPA's leadership stated it is believed no fans will be permitted into games for the entire 2020-2021 season. In a report devoted entirely, almost, to the conditions surrounding a potential return to action this season, that is a major piece of news about the conditions under which the NBA could return next season. At the effect of COVID-19 will almost certainly continue to impact the way the league operates beyond this season, was already a reality, and surely limiting the number of fans permitted into arenas was also going to be an ongoing discussion, such as it is. But to hear that as of now, the expectation is no fans for the entire 2020-2021 season is a big deal, lost in the much bigger deal of the potential perils of returning this season. This is not official, of course. It's merely a report that this is the belief the players are under at this moment. A lot can change between now and next season. We could have a vaccine or at least a treatment that mitigates the most critical symptoms. We could know a lot more about the way the virus spreads. Who knows? Maybe we'll end up back in a lockdown and finally stamp this virus out for good. But again, as of now, it appears the players better get used to the idea of playing games inside empty arenas for the entirety of the 2020-2021 season, and fans better get used to the idea of watching games through that same lens. That will certainly impact the league's finances and potentially shave even more money off future salary caps and ultimately players' earnings. And that is to say nothing of the $1.2 billion players could collectively lose out on if the league doesn't return to action this season. Stay tuned. Oh boy. 12:03, because I left you folks in a bit of we're going to add 5 extra minutes to the broadcast. So let's keep going, shall we? In college football news, Clemson quarterback Trevor Lawrence was given the microphone on Saturday during a protest that he and a couple of his teammates helped organize on campus. The rally was set to follow the lead of others held around the country in remembrance of George Floyd, who was killed by Minneapolis police in May. In front of the crowd, Lawrence spoke of the importance of discomfort in this moment and how he's grown as a person throughout this moment in history while listening to and learning from teammates' experiences. Quote, the past few weeks I've been uncomfortable, end quote, Lawrence told the on-campus crowd. That word uncomfortable will be an important one in all of our steps in our journey to bring equality. I've learned that every truly good thing in life comes from being brave and stepping into the uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable to set aside everything I know about America and listen to someone else's perspective. However, I'm learning to listen more. I'm learning that listening is usually more valuable than talking. You learn when you listen, and you begin to understand when you listen. I'm learning to try and put myself in the shoes of those who are in pain. Empathy and compassion will be vital as we take the right steps towards reconciliation. Lawrence waded into the waters of uncomfortable topics such as racial inequality and justice in late May when he set out on a pair of tweets alluding to the discrimination that his teammates experience. And wow, amazing tweets indeed. It's 12:06, and we're going to keep going and going and going. Okay. Let's get you updated on the return of golf. And the return at the Charles Schwab Challenge in Fort Worth has delivered in a big way this week as a loaded field anxious to get back to the PGA Tour competition has produced a packed leaderboard after shooting a 66, the same score that got Gary Woodland, Justin Thomas, and Brendan Gates, US Open champion in Woodlawn, in a 1:10 tee-off time, preceded by Justin Thomas and Brandon Grace at 1 p.m., Jordan Spieth and Colin Morikawa at 12:50, McIlroy and Bryson DeChambeau at 12:10 p.m., and 36-hole leader Harold Varner III with Daniel Berger at 12:40. Now you can watch round 4 live from 3 to 6 on CBS, CBSSports.com, and streaming on the CBS Sports app. And there you go. Not a bad way to earn a little money. Okay, it is 12:08, 22 minutes. I will make it. I'm going to make it. Well, my name isn't whatever my name is. Okay, let's keep going. We got a NASCAR report, and then we're going to talk about that big deal that baseball made with Turner Sports. NFL report. And let's get to it, shall we? Peacefully protests racism and the systemic oppression of black people in America. One more starting quarterback has revealed his intent to do just that, with the Cleveland Browns' Baker Mayfield writing on Instagram Saturday that he'll absolutely be kneeling during the national anthem in 2020. A Browns fan had responded to a workout video on Mayfield's account with a simple request, quote, "Please tell Browns fans out. I absolutely am." Mayfield won't be the only big name to take the baton from former San Fran 49ers quarterback Colin Kaepernick, who began kneeling back in 2016 to protest police brutality and systematic racism. His remarks come a day after Houston Texans coach Bill O'Brien said he'll take a knee alongside players this season. Running back Adrian Peterson, the Washington Redskins, had previously indicated he and many other NFL players would revive kneeling and other on-field demonstrations in 2020. And some believe NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell could even do the same, sign of solidarity with the NFL's black community. Resistance to peaceful protests during the anthem has been few and far between, with only New Orleans Saints quarterback Drew Brees notably taking a stance against kneeling earlier this month. Brees, of course, has since backtracked with several apologies to the black community, saying he now understands the protests have never been about the flag. He also specifically addressed President Donald Trump, who repeatedly criticized players' protests, saying, "We can no longer use the flag to turn people away or distance them from the real issues that face our black communities." Whew. And the football season is approaching. Keep going. College football. Texas Longhorn athletes are asking for one little thing. over the past couple of weeks following George Floyd's murder in Minneapolis. But as some of those statements on social media began to dissipate, college football players continued to demand action and accountability from superiors. Athletes across multiple sports at the University of Texas released a statement through social media on Friday requesting a series of changes that would significantly alter some of the traditions on campus, as well as build more awareness of Black history at the school. Quote, "We aim to hold the athletic department and university to a higher standard by not only asking them to keep their promise of condemning racism on our campus," end quote, the statement said, quote, "but to go beyond this by taking action to make Texas more comfortable and inclusive for the Black athletes and Black community that so fervently support this program," end quote. The letter, unsigned but released, quote, "on behalf of the UT student athletes," end quote, asks that the following issues be addressed, quote, "through the implementation or plan for implementation at the start of the fall semester." Number one, renaming several buildings on campus, including Robert Lee Moore Hall, Painter Hall, Littlefield Hall, and James Hogg Auditorium. Two, replacing campus statues with other more diverse ones created by people of color. Three, the building of a permanent Black athlete history exhibit to the UT Athletics Hall of Fame. Four, donating 0.5% of the athletic department's annual earnings to, quote, Black organizations and the Black Lives Matter movement, end quote. Number two, or next one, renaming an area of Darrell K. Royal Texas Memorial Stadium after Julius Whittier, the first Black player at UT. And the last, replacing the Eyes of Texas as the school's alma mater with a new song without racist undertones, while lifting the requirement for players to sing the song after games. The statement adds that while players will continue to practice and prepare for the upcoming season, quote, "without an official commitment from the university, we will not be participating in the recruiting of incoming players or donor-related events," end quote. Among the Texas football players who shared the statement was receiver Brendan Eagles, who just this month tweeted he wouldn't, quote, "play another snap," end quote, after the events of the past 2 weeks. Most of the requests, and there are more than just what we've brought you, are necessary and easily enough to implement. Just this week, Clemson renamed the John C. Calhoun Honors College to Clemson University Honors College in a petition. The one that will ruffle the most feathers is a change to the Eyes of Texas, a song that dates back to early 1900s to a minstrel show which featured performers in blackface. Texas has its own bleak history with the Black community. Of the more notable examples, the Longhorns football team did not integrate until 1970, but Texas players and coach Tom Herman have been vocal in recent weeks. Speaking with the Austin American-Statesman, Herman said, "There's a double standard, maybe a little bit. We're going to pack 100,000 people into DKR, and millions watch on TV that are predominantly white. Not all of them, certainly, but most of them white. We're going to cheer when they score touchdowns. We're going to hug our buddy when they get sacks or an interception. But we're going to let them date. But are we going to let them date our daughter? Are we going to hire them in a position of power in our company? That's the question I have for America. You can't have it both ways." We continue. We got about 15 minutes before about 30 minutes, actually, before we say our goodbye. Let's give you an update on the UFC Fight Night. I will give you scores, highlights, shout-outs, and more. So right now, from Vegas, darling. Okay, from Vegas, and I'm about to sneeze. All right, let's give you right now a recap of tonight's action in the UFC it's UFC Fight Night. So here we go. Christian Aguilera defeated Anthony Ivy via first round TKO punches. Tyson Nam defeated Ryan Benoit via first round TKO punches. Julia Avila defeated Gina Mazzani via first round TKO punches. I wish I had. Oh boy. Mirab Ishvili defeated Gustavo Lopez via unanimous decision. Maria Agapova defeated Hannah Siffers via first round submission, rear naked choke. Jordan Espinoza defeated Mark De La Rosa via unanimous decision. Andre Fili defeated Charles Jourdain via split decision. Charles Rosa defeated Kevin Aguilar via split decision. Marvin Vettori defeated Carl Robertson via first round submission. And Cynthia Cavillo defeated Jessica I via unanimous decision. That was all tonight on the UFC Fight Night. All your results right there. And what a night it was. No fans again at the UFC Apex facility. And no one knows when the next match will come up, but it's going to be interesting. And oh boy, we are going to make it. And I'm sorry to my friend, but I do have to keep drinking some water here. It helps. Oh. Anyway. Excuse me again. I'm sorry for the interruptions and everything that went on tonight. And yes, I'm going to cut my hair. Gotta wash it first, and then I'll have it cut on Monday. Oh boy. Whew. Okay, let's give you the big report. And Major League Baseball announced a major deal. They come to terms on a new postseason television deal with Turner Sports that will pay out more than $1 billion. The exact length and terms of the deal are unknown. The agreement will, however, pay more than $1 billion. Will allow Turner to continue airing one of the league's championship series each October. Now, part of the league's negotiations with the players have seen the owners push for expanded playoffs. Now, it's unclear if and how that possibility was accounted for in the Turner deal. Now, news of the agreement between baseball and Turner came less than 24 hours after the league made its latest proposal to the players. Under that proposal, they would have played a 72-game season while being paid 70% of their prorated salary, or essentially the same amount the players would make if they were paid prorated salaries for 48 games. And number 48 is significant because Commissioner Rob Manfred has the ability to force a season of that length if no agreement can be reached between the two sides. If Manfred executes that option, the players will be paid their full prorated salaries for those games. There's no telling what's likelier, Manfred imposing his powers or an agreement. It's probably fair to write that the owners would prefer to not have had the TV deal leak when it did. Earlier this week, St. Louis Cardinal owner Bill DeWitt claimed that the baseball industry isn't very profitable, to be quite honest. R.I.P. MLB. You might as well put an I in the middle of that because the minor leagues will also be hurt. Okay. We're going to make it. Okay, let's get with some dealings with the kind consider. PFT commenter reportedly has signed a 2-year extension with Barstool Sports. Ooh. We'll have that thing coming with you. All right, let's PFT commentator has signed commenter has signed new 2-year deal to stay with Barstool Sports, according to Mark J. Burns of Sports Business Journal. Trying to keep PFT commenter, whose real name is Eric Sullenberger, long term is a no-brainer for Barstool. PFT commenter and Dan Katz, or Big Cat, have made Pardon My Take an enormously successful podcast that has even appealed to many people that aren't otherwise Barstool followers. It has even landed them on SportsCenter with Scott Van Pelt, for example. Not bad after all. Well, they did give Barstool one night of programming before that got pulled. PFT commentator in Barstool in 2016 after already being very popular personality in the sports blogosphere. He was with SB Nation before joining Barstool and the Twitterverse. He currently has over 750,000 followers, known for his takes, Taeks, and intentional misspellings and poor grammar. Barstool had good reason to think PFT commenter would be a great addition and expand their audience, but his impact has probably even surprised them. A 2-year extension allows PFT commenter to keep doing his thing with Barstool and Pardon My Take for a while, but also allows him to still keep his long-term options open, and maybe that includes kicking for a professional football team. Well, if the XFL does return, who knows? The MAC is working with ESPN to reschedule an Election Day game following an NCAA statement about making that day a day off. Oh, boy. ESPN will show documentaries Free Solo and Foosballers. Well, they already did that tonight. Not bad. And Friday. Let's... the Tuesday, November 3rd game between Buffalo and Northern Illinois now looks likely to be rescheduled. That's right. There's been a lot of discussion today lately about ways for the NC2A schools to help their players participate in the political process more, including voter registration efforts for players discussed at Florida State and elsewhere. The NCAA, as a body, added something to that Friday with we encourage all member schools to assist students in registering to vote in the upcoming national election and designate November 3rd, 2020 as a day off from athletic activity so athletes can vote and participate in their ultimate responsibility as citizens. Statement. Forgive me. I must call upon my may have an intruder in here. My cat assassin should be around here. Anyway. And while that is only an encouragement, it does mean something. November 3rd is a Tuesday, so that would only mean canceling practices for most schools, but it would also alter one planned football game, a MAC game between the Buffalo Bulls and Northern Illinois Huskies. The MAC put out a statement Friday afternoon. They're working with ESPN to reschedule that game to a better date. Of course, all this comes with caveats. Big questions ahead for NCAA football as a whole, especially after positive COVID-19 tests at large number of schools. So the whole football season is far from assured at this point, but it's certainly interesting to see the NC2A coming out with a statement to try and get schools to make Election Day a day off from athletic activity, and to see the MAC say that they'll work with ESPN to reschedule the game. Now, this probably isn't the worst thing in the world for ESPN either. Election night isn't a great night for anything other than election coverage from a rating standpoint. So a rescheduled game may be a win for them as well. And midweek MAC games are so much about TV at this point that it doesn't really seem to make sense to put one on a night when a lot of people aren't going to watch. So we'll see where this game winds up. So stay tuned on that. Okay. Oh, thank gosh. Nearing the home slate, folks. I'm going to see if I can't get this thing pulled out. Don't forget, folks, I do believe tomorrow and Wednesday, NBCSN, the Premier League, will be back in action. Good on you. Okay, it is time on our very little show to do what we do best besides yutzing up, which we've done really good today. And that is, let's get you some scores. And we do it with pride, ladies and gentlemen. We do it with pride and a lot of water. Okay, we're going to give you good night to everybody. And once again, I'm sorry for what happened on Friday. But as I say, things happen that are totally beyond our program during the quote-unquote chaos that we could not do it. So we're giving you this little super show, which has about 6 minutes remaining on our clock. And about a little bit of time on the regular show, on the regular clock. So, let's get to last night's action. Actually, can we go one more night, please? Can we go Friday? Friday would be, yeah. Okay, let's do it here. Okay, soccer action, the German Bundesliga. Leipzig over Hoffenheim, 2-0. Granada versus in Spain, Granada over Getafe, 2-1. Valencia Levante, tied at 1. In Armenia, it was Alashkert 2, Lori 0. In Belarus, it was Ishtok 1, Minsk 0. Gorodega 3, Slutsk 0. In the reserve Belarus, it was Niemann, the sequel, beating Shmulovici 5-1, and Zodino and Brest tied at 2. In Denmark, Esbjerg defeated Randers 4-2. In Estonia, Flora shut out Tulevesk 3-0. In the Faroe Islands Premier League, it was B36 Torshaven over Stramer 4-1, and Rundvik over Agri 3-1. Germany 2 Bundesliga. Sandhausen and Armenia Bielefeld. Gusegs Hamburger over Dynamo Dresden 1-0. Hungary, the OTP Bank Liga. Honved defeated Meskovets Zori 2-1. Turkmenistan and Altanashar defeated Nabichi 7-0. In the club friendly, last Friday night, it was Justinad Orlisi over Letosrad, 3-0. Zlin B over Shrani 4-2. Snojmo over Mutens 3-1. Milotais over Strasnis 7-2. Ikenzas over Marinham 1-0. Cromertz over Hodonin 1-0. Blanksko over Lineshot 2-0. And for the rest of the club friendly scores from last night, be so kind as to go to scoreboard.com. In basketball in Germany, the BBL final stages. Oh boy. Bayern over Göttingen, 90-55. Oldenburg over Krasnodar Merlins, 85-83. In WSBL women's action from Taiwan, Cathay Life over Changhua Telecom, 101-51. And Power losers to Taiwan, 80-62. In Japanese preseason NPB baseball, it was the Fukuoka Silverhawks and the Hiroshima Carp, 3-0 for the Silverhawks, 3-7-0 for the Hawks, 0-2-0 for the Carp. The Nippon Ham Fighters defeated the Omori Giants 6-2, 6-11-1 for the Fighters, 2-6-1 for the Giants. The Yokohama Bay Stars defeated the Chunichi Dragons 8-4, 8-15-0 for the Bay Stars, 4-8-0 for the Dragons. The Hanshin Tigers and the Oryx Buffaloes ended in a 3-3 tie, 3-11-1 for the Buffaloes, 3-8-0 for the Tigers. The Cebu Lions over the Chiba Lotte Marines, 9-6, 9-16-2 for the Lions, 6-12-0 for the Marines. And the Rakuten Golden Eagles over the Yakut Swallows, 4-1, 4-4-0 for the Eagles, 1-7-0 for the Swallows. In the Czech Republic, it was Draki Bruno over Blansko, 9-3, 9-11-1 for Bruno, 3-6-3 for Blansko. Ostrava over Tempo Prague, 4-2, 4-9-0 for Ostrava, 2-6-3 for Prague. In the KBO, South Korea, it was the Doosan Bears over the Hanwha Eagles, 5-2, 5-9-1 for the Bears, 2-5-1 for the Eagles. Twins over the Giants, 3-2, 3-4-0 for the LG Twins, 2-9-1 for the Lotte Giants. Kiwoom Heroes over the NC Dinos, 3-2, 3-4-0 for the Heroes, 2-8-1 for the Dinos. And the Kia Tigers over the SK Wyvern, 6-3, 6-9-0 Tigers, 3-5-1 Wyvern. In Taiwan, the CPBL first stage, Rakuten Monkeys over the China Trust Brothers, 4-0, 4-9-0 for the Monkeys, 0-8-0 for the Brothers. And the Uni Lions put a spanking on the Fubon Guardians, 10-4, 10-5-1 Lions, 4-8-1 Guardians. And in the CPBL minor league in Taiwan, it was the Weishuan Dragons over the China Trust Brothers, 8-7, 8-15-1 for the Dragons, 7-16-3 for the Brothers. Okay. And that was the 12th. Let's go to today's action. And if you want esports, go to scoreboard.com and you'll get it all right there. Okay. Let's do baseball first in the Taiwan CPBL minor league. The Fubon Guardians over the Uni Lions, 9-4, 9-13-0 for the Guardians, 4-8-2 for the Lions equals. CPBL first stage in Taiwan, the China Trust Brothers over the Rakuten Monkeys, 8-5, 8-13-0 for the Brothers, 5-15-1 for the Monkeys. Union Lions over the Fubon Guardians, 3-2, 3-6-0 for the Lions, 2-5-1 for the Guardians. In Korean baseball, in South Korea, of course, KBO on ESPN and ESPN2. Kia Tigers over the SK Wyverns, 2-1, 2-6-1 Tigers, 1-5-0 Wyverns. KT with Swan over the Samsung Lions, 7-4, 7-8-2 for the Swan, 4-8-0 for the Lions. The Kibun Heroes down the NC Dinos, 18-5, 18-17-0 for the Heroes, 5-11-1 for the Dinos. Lottie Giants over the LG Twins, 7-6, 7-8-0 for the Giants, 6-10-2 for the Twins, and the KT with Swoon lost to Samsung Lions 5-3, 5-7-0 Lions, 3-6-0 for the Swoon. Czech Republic. Draki Bruno blanked the Blanskos 11-0, 11-14-0 for the BRNO, and 0-1-3 for the Blanksko. Technica BRNO over Hirozi BRNO 11-7, 11-11-2 for BRNO Technica, 7-13-4 for Hirosh Brno. Katarka Prague over Sabat Prague 12-9, 12-6-0 for, as we're going to call them, Kot Prague, 9-10-1 for Sab Prague. Okay. In Japan, the NPB preseason, Hiroshima Carp defeated the Fukuoka Silverhawks 5-4, 5-10-3 for the Carp, 4-7-0 for the Hawks. Cebu Lions over the Chibalati Marines 3-2, 3-8-0 for the Lions, 2-5-0 for the Marines. Nippon Ham Fighters over the Yomiuri Giants 8-5, 8-11-0 Ham Fighters, 5-8-2 Giants. Yokohama Bay Stars over the Chunichi Dragons 4-3, 4-5-1 for the Bay Stars, 3-7-1 for the Dragons. The Oric Buffaloes and the Hanshin Tigers play to a 1-1 tie, 1-4-1 for the Buffaloes, 1-3-1 for the Tigers. In the third inning, yes, the Akut Swallows lead the Rakuten Golden Eagles by a score of 1-0, 1-3-0 for the Swallows, 0-1-0 for the Golden Eagles. Cebu Lions over the Chibalate Marines in the second, 3-0, 3-6-0 for the Lions. Goose eggs on the boards for the Marines. Hanshin Tigers and the Oryx Buffaloes finished in a 1-1 tie, 1-4-1 Buffaloes, 1-3-1 Tigers. Yokohama Bay Stars over the Chunichi Dragons, 4-3, 4-5-1 Bay Stars, 3-7-1 Dragons. Nippon Ham Fighters over the Yomiuri Giants, 8-5, 8-11-0 Ham Fighters, 5-8-2 Giants. Cebu Lions over the Chibalate Marines, 3-2, 3-8-0 Lions, 2-5-0 Marines. Hiroshima Carp over the Fukuoka Silverhawks, 5-4, 5-10-3 for the Carp, 4-7-0 for the Silverhawks. And that is baseball. Let's do basketball. And if you want soccer, please go to scoreboard.com. You'll get your soccer stuff because we are running close to time, close out time here. Germany, BBL, final stage. Bamberg over Frankfurt, 99-83. Alba Berlin over Vetka, 102-72. In the Nicaragua Torneo Carlos Urba playoffs, it was San Isidro over Metagalpa, 86-83. Taiwan WSBL women's action. Cathay Life over Thai Power, 98-36. Taiwan over Shunhua Telecom, 73-56. And in Turkmenistan, the NBLT Balkan over Dragon Oil, 81-68. Turkmenistan, Yokari Liga Kopdog Agabat defeated Mur 1-0. High blanked FC Asgabat 5-0. Sagdam over Interject 7-0. South Korea K-League 2. Jeju United over Swan City 1-0. Seoul East over Daejeon 2-0. In South Korea K-League 1 action, it was Ulsan Hyundai over Daegonam 1-0. Jeonbuk over Incheon 1-0. Pohang over Sangmu 4-2. And Swan Blue Wings over Gangwon 2-2. And for the rest, we allow you to know that scoreboard.com will have all the rest of the scores that we couldn't get due to time. There. Okay. Oh, God, the pain is subsiding now. Okay. As we have but 3 minutes to go, I'm just going to say hello to everyone on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And we are coming down to the last few moments of our little broadcast. I want to thank you all for putting up with tonight's show and my injured tooth. I'm hoping to get it pulled out. I'm going to make an appointment this week with the dentist to see if it can't be pulled out. I'm just hoping it does. Anyway, I'm sorry for drinking water on camera. But as I say, things happen. And when they... So I want to thank you all for bearing with me at this time. And I know this is sort of an unusual, has been sort of an unusual show, but thank you very much for putting up with my cold and everything that's been going on here the past couple, 3 or 4 days. We'll be back with a regular little show tomorrow at 11 p.m. Eastern Time. Until then, I'm very sleepy. Steve the Baxman Baxley saying to all of you, good night. Stay well, stay healthy, and no matter the sport, may your favorite team be winners. And good night, America. Sleep tight, starve a cold, feed a fever. This has been a presentation of Mystifying Creativity Productions in association with the L2C Media Network and L2C Sports. And for everyone involved in the production of this show, thank you. And good night, everybody. Be well. Good night.